Good morning. Welcome to this edition of the Lynn Hayes Freeland Show. I love it when we have the entire show to talk to one guest. We don't get a chance to do that often, but sometimes the subject matter lends itself to that. My guest today is Dr. Lawrence Drake II. He is the author of a book entitled Color Him Father. You, my friends, are going to be awfully glad you tuned in today. Welcome to the show, Dr. Drake.
Thank you, Lynn.
We had the opportunity to talk a couple weeks after your recent talk at the August Wilson Center.
Yep.
I met you right around that same time and was fascinated. First, I didn't ask you this when I had a chance to talk to you earlier. Talk to me about the title, Color Him Father.
You know, that wasn't the original title of the book.
Mm-hmm.
I was at a place where I was trying to navigate the emotional transition of losing my daughter, and the original title was Daddy, I'm Not Here, But I'm Not Gone. And I talked to my publisher about it, and she was kind of lukewarm about the title, but of course, you know, I had the right to name it what I wanted to, but she didn't object. Interestingly enough, though, there was something about how I was feeling about it that said that may not be where we end up. And as I started writing the first chapter and doing some of the early interviews, it occurred to me that I probably should change it, but I wasn't sure to what. Over the course of several weeks, I was riding in my car listening to Sirius XM, and this 1963 version of Color Him Father, the original version, by the Winstons, kept coming on almost every time I was in my car. And it was kind of an emotional experience for me every time I heard it, because as you know, the song really talks about a young boy talking about his reverence for this man that was not his biological father, but that really was his father, and who had married his mother, who had 7 kids. And how this man was dedicated to his mom and how much she loved him, even though his biological father had died in the war.
I was going to say, it's really a song about love.
Yes.
Which in many ways, your book is about the love between a father and a child.
That's correct.
In this case, it's about the love between 7 fathers and 7 children,
Yes.
7 fathers who have lost their children.
Yes, yes. And we started out with 10. And 3 of the fathers just got to the place as we were getting close to the interview, just not being able to really, you know, have a conversation about it to the degree and to the depth that we needed to record their story in the book. In fact, one of the fathers hadn't talked about it at all. His daughter was murdered 15 years ago.
Wow.
And he just could not talk about it. Another father who was actually teed up and ready to go, and he was going to be our last father, so we actually would have had 8 because the other 2 had dropped out. And that was in the fall of last year. He lost his daughter in October of 2018. And of course, he was going to be the last chapter since our release date was Father's Day 2019.
Okay.
Well, I went to talk with him and asked him, are you ready? And he said yes. And I had known him for 20 years. His wife and his daughters, I had known them. When his daughter died in October of that year, of 2018, he still said he wanted to do it. He says, I really do want to talk about Danielle. But then in January, as we were sitting down after the holiday to work on the second phase of the work, his wife died.
Oh, my.
And so I went to him, I called him, and I said, listen, you know, we've been friends a long time, and I know what kind of pain you're feeling for Danielle. And now I know what you're feeling about your wife as well, knowing, you know, her for as long as I have. I said, you can't do this right now. So as your friend, I'm going to say, let's not do that.
Right.
And let's find another way for you to contribute to the work that we're going to do post the book.
Okay. All right. So your story, and we're going to have to take a commercial break, so I hate to, you know what, let's do this. Let's take the commercial break, and then we'll come back and tell your story and the loss of your daughter, and we'll go from there. The book is called Color Him Father, Trust and Believe You don't want to go anywhere. We'll be right back.